Hello everybody! Today my guest is not a brand new car as such, because as I'm sure you know already, the BMW X4 has been with us since 2014. But this year, 2017, may be the last of its production, because BMW is already testing the prototypes for the next generation model. So I thought it would be a good idea to give you a short presentation of the BMW X4, the current model, which will soon go out of production. What we have here is the X4 xDrive30d model, which is BMW speak for the 3-liter inline-6 turbo diesel engine, which in this iteration makes 258 horsepower. Let's take a look at the design first. This is an X-line trim, which is a mid-range grade for BMW X4. It comes nicely kitted with a lot of features, as you will see. But what I like the most on the outside is this pearl effect paint. Right, so leaving the paint aside, this car has some nice contrasting bits for the paint, such as this panoramic roof, which as I'll show in a minute is not full length. It only goes above the front passenger area, and in the rear is just a solid roof with a glass trim above it. So let's see what other striking design details this car has. Impossible to ignore are these wheels, the 19-inch alloys that feature a dual tone treatment. This is obviously the most controversial angle of this car, the rear quarter side view, because it allows us to see the sloping roofline that BMW believes is responsible for turning this X3 based vehicle into a coupe-like SUV, or sports activity coupe as BMW calls it. If you ask me, the only reason BMW built this car was because it wanted to emulate the success of the X6, the larger sibling, which is based on the X5. Since we're here, let's take a look at the BMW X4's boot, because many people were skeptical about how roomy the X4 can be with the sloping roofline. As you can see, trunk capacity is not bad. BMW says it can house 500 liters in here, up to the parcel shelf, which is missing from this car. That means this boot is 50 liters smaller than the one in the X3. So the trade-off is not that big. BMW also says that if you fold down these rear seats, you get more than 1,400 liters of space. But there's just one problem. You don't have any buttons here to release the seats, so you'll have to extend all the way up here and push this button to lower the seat. As you can see, it's pretty flat, but there are no electrical controls like in the Land Rover Discovery, for example, that we featured on our channel. That was my head banging against the tailgate, but nothing serious. Okay, so all BMW X4s get a power tailgate. You just press this button here and it magically closes all by itself. Let's move on to the interior, because there are plenty of things to talk about there. Now these seats are really comfortable. They are power assisted, so you can slide them forward or backward. You can adjust the height as well from this button. I personally believe that even in this lowest setting, you sit a bit too high in the X4. Some people want that from their SUVs, but for someone who wants to drive a little bit faster and feel the car better, a lower seat position would have been nice. They're really comfortable. You also get this additional seating length if you want, but it's manual. You just have to press this lever here and push it back into its place. The leather is really nice to touch and has a quality feel to it. It's really enjoyable. Right, so now I have set my seat in the desired position. I'm going to climb aboard to show you more of the BMW X4. As you can see, these dials are analog, no digital gimmicks here. And now you see the digital display of the iDrive infotainment system. It doesn't have touch screen functionality as newer BMW models have, like the 5 Series and the 7 Series. The rotary controller works so well and allows you to browse through the menu very quickly and easily. Also helped by the buttons that surround it. One thing I like about this display is that it's recessed into the dashboard. It's not floating like in more recent BMW models. So in an instance like this, when the sun is shining brightly, you can see that the edge of the dash keeps the screen in the shadow, so you can get a better look at it and not be blinded by the sun. It's a nice touch, and also my personal opinion is that it looks way better integrated like that in the dashboard than those floating displays you get to see in recent Mercedes, Audi and BMW models. The overall layout and design of the dashboard is very familiar for everybody, I'm sure, because it's essentially the same design as in the BMW X3. Everything is where you expect it to be if you're a BMW driver. And on this side you get the lever, slick looking, for the ZF 8-speed automatic transmission. And moving further to the left, you get driving mode buttons. This car has Eco Pro, Sport, Sport Plus, and Comfort bang in the middle, which is the default mode. The car starts in Comfort mode. This button is the hill control descent system, and then you have the camera. When you press it, you get a display showing you what's in front of the car. Also on the center tunnel are the button for the electronic parking brake and the auto hold system, which allows you to go uphill from a standstill without pressing the brakes. The car will do that for you, which is quite nice. One last thing I have to show you in the front passenger area is the sunroof. I told you before that it only covers the area above the front passengers. As you can see, there's an edge here. You open it by pulling this lever. And that's how wide it opens. Let's get inside in the rear passenger compartment now. As you can see, it doesn't look tight at all, the space. Right, so I'm climbing aboard now. I have set the front seat to my driving position. I am 6 foot tall, and as you can see, there's quite some room here left for my knees. As for the feet, I can extend them below the front seat, but it's a bit tight in there. And now for the supreme practicality test in the X4. Let's see how much room I have for my head. Yes, it's me. So here we go. That's all. It's only as thick as my finger. So if I touch the headrest, I also touch the roof with the back of my head. And this is to blame for the poor headroom. This sloping roofline that BMW says it turns the X4 into a sports activity coupe. Yeah, right? Now that we're here, let's talk about what you see in the rear view mirror. This is all. The rear window is that small and narrow. You can't see much out of it, so you have to rely on the car's parking sensors, and thankfully this car has parking sensors. But this is the view I get from the rear seat. Let me show you what you really see in the rear view mirror when you're in the driving position. That's all, ladies and gentlemen. That's all you see in the rear view mirror. So poor visibility towards the rear. Really poor. As I told you at the beginning of this video, this car has the 3-liter inline-6 turbo diesel engine, which is badged xDrive30d, because it's also all-wheel drive. It's the xDrive all-wheel drive system that's rear biased for more driving pleasure. Let's fire up the engine so you can hear what it sounds like. Immediately you know it's a diesel, but being a 6-cylinder engine, it's way more balanced than a 4-cylinder unit, so you get less clatter than from the 2-liter inline-4 engine BMW also offers in the X4. This engine has bags of torque, 560 Newton meters to be precise, and that's really necessary because it has to pull a car that weighs 1.9 tons, which is a lot. I would have expected the X4 to be significantly lighter than the X6, but as it turns out, it isn't that much lighter. If you're curious to hear the noise this engine makes while being revved, here it is. As far as fuel economy goes, the X4 doesn't get too near the claimed 6.1 liters per 100 kilometers of average fuel economy. As you can see right now, the average fuel consumption is 9.4 liters per 100 kilometers. During a mixed route, both in the city and outside, about 60 kilometers, split evenly, I think. So 9.4 liters for a 3-liter engine isn't bad at all. This may be a farewell video to the BMW X4, but I for one will not miss it that much. First of all, because there's a new X4 coming in early 2018, but most of all because everything this car can do, the X3 can do better. The X3 has more room inside for passengers, it has a bigger boot and a cleaner design, if you ask me, because I've never been a fan of the coupe SUV thing. Make sure you let us know what you think about this in the commentary section. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't done that already. Bye bye.